I didn't know this got the glad to bring the brother back. We'll be back again and again and again. To learn it, right? That's right, man. It's good to go, baby.
Yeah. Right. There's a man to get me back again. I'm still solid and cheapest. Everybody else in the past $1,000 or $1,500 mark, so I'm still below that. So I guess, but then again, I come for, you bring you get to 1,500. When I buy one, you might have it 1 year, you might not have it over 3 more years. You have to come twice a year or what have you. Just like, it's 208. Just like, keeping the price and selling little stuff on the back end. Glad to be back, like I said before. As always, what's that? You can't hear?
Why don't y'all sit in the chairs? Ain't nothing but your people.
Up there,
you can be a family.
And we like y'all up and close to personal.
And you can hear up there.
You need to back over. That's magic right there, I guess.
Okay.
It's the whole high school teacher that he worked in. Yeah. But anyway, I'm glad to be back. Like I always say, the only third world country in America is Detroit. I'm always saying, and believe me, I go to New York, I go to Atlanta, or I'm from Atlanta, I go any place in the country, I always go. You have it in Detroit, DVDs, the videos, and why you say that? That's where the power always comes when you come to Detroit. So the people around the country know, I guess where the people suffer the most. That's the thing, they say the most advanced spiritual are in the wilderness. That's the Bible, Lord. Even if you get doomed, you get the movie doomed. The Fremen live in the most harsh conditions on Arrakis. You see what I'm saying? The desert planet Doom. And that's talking about, that's where the most spiritual or the elect will come from. They will come from a place of hardship. And I just noticed it based on y'all streets. Now maybe they're not paying them the last time, but I've never been in a city with the seats, almost like El Salvador. It's all the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. It's amazing thing. But I think that there's a book that some white folks wrote. I think the book came out in 99 or 98. It's a book on Detroit and how white folks said that they worked for 70 years to clean out the infrastructure of Detroit and take back in city. And it's a book out on it. So this one said, hardship is always known when you go. So I'm glad to be back. I can't remember the name of it. What's the name of it? S-U-R-G-U-E. That's the author. You only need the author, or you need the name of the title. Anyway, it's a book on that. It's like there's a book written called Harlem is Nothing But a Third World Country. It's a book on Harlem. And Harlem is very unique that the architecture in Harlem was built for the aristocrats in Europe. But they had a recession and they couldn't come over and they ended up selling to a few black families and they go to the neighborhood. So the white folks didn't want to live around black folks. They said, well, what we'll do is, because it's the most unique architecture, you would never sell to them. They could always win. And it's interesting now because there's a woman, she's an actress. I think she might have a Academy Award. Her name is Marsha Gay Harden, white woman. Marsha Gay Harden. Played in a lot of movies. And one of the brothers walking down the street in Harlem and she's sitting out in front of a brownstone. And he said, hey, man, ain't you a movie? Ain't you an actress? And she said, yeah. And he was like, damn, what you doing up in Harlem? He said, there's a lot of us up in Harlem, a lot of whites. Movie stars are involved in Harlem. And if people want to know why we find Harlem, because Harlem has the greatest architecture of the whole New York City. Which has been some interesting here because they just did a documentary on the History Channel. Every now and then, they'll give up something. And so they did a documentary on the History Channel, and they said, well, we do know that the area when it was continental drift, before before the planet, the continent split up, they said New York City, where Central Park, Harlem, the whole New York City area, is what you can say Brooklyn and all that. The 5 boroughs once used to be a part of Morocco.
Well,
Now, which is interesting here because that means we home, even when we're not thinking we home. See what I'm saying? And they had this in the History Channel 2 weeks ago. Which was interesting because the Montauk Indians, the Montauk Point, they had all those experiments. The Montauk Indians used to say that that's where the first man stood up was in that particular area too. As far as, you got Kilimanjaro, the Montauk said it was in Montauk, Long Island, in that particular area. But if it was connected to Morocco, this thing makes sense. So that means I've learned over the years, I never say nothing is not accurate historically. We know that they have to have a certain amount of boundaries for history, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the real truth. And I'm beginning to believe that as long as I live and more and more I study, you just don't know. It's an ongoing research. You see what I'm saying? Just, to say this is the facts. You see what I'm saying? That's just the fact that's relevant to you and your education or what you think you get the facts from. It can change once there's further evidence. You see? So it's interesting here. We're going to post some libations. We get it out. Which is interesting. The world of everything, you're going to find out now that everything that's happening is almost like it's supposed to happen. You might have to get to it one day and be all mad because you was late. And had you known, you might miss something. It was something important. Anybody get these connections where you're late, or you turn down this road, and then you see something that you need? That's how things are connected in the spirit world. Now, so you got to be very aware of that at this particular time, as well as the ancestors. Now, never before have the ancestors been so important than they are now. So you make together. So now, so it's interesting. So above all this, let me get my glasses. Now I don't really get them right now. So this is elderberry wine. Elderberry wine by Massachusetts. Now there's another grade you can get at Whole Foods. Elderberry wine is at Whole Foods. No matter Chevy is a bit sweet for some people. But if you don't, if you want to get another, there's one they sell at Whole Foods. You can also get this. Elderberry wine is what the ancestors and the fairies are the ancestors. That's why white folks paint all the fairies. They paint all the fairies white. So you look at it and I'm not going to mess with that stuff. That's the ancestral wine. So when you are sin and your ancestors are sin, they go back to the fairy wine. You see what I'm saying? We'll get into that. But anyway, the ancestors and the fairies love elderberry wine. This is very key that you get you some elderberry wine. They love it. It's in the movie also. All major witches and European witches know this. But it's also in the movie Legend. The movie Legend with Tom Cruise. It came out like 1985 or something like that. They talk about the elderberry wine. This is very spiritual. So you want to commune with your ancestors. This is one of the keys. As well as the Caribbean ancestors always belong, especially when you deal in the day with this very song, which we're going to get into. And all intents and purposes is none other than Jesus Christ. That's amazing. You said, I thought Jesus was hard. It is. There's the Egyptian Jesus that was stolen by the Romans.
that's right.
Go back to that Egyptian Jesus, which was a modified Coptic version of Harlem. Hey, get ahead of myself. But anyway, so we can post a libation in a few minutes. Get you some elderberry wine from Massachusetts. Or you can go to a Whole Foods and probably get one that is not the soup. That's very key when it comes to the ancestors. Now, as you know, I just took a trip over to London. And went over there and did 3 lectures, 3 days. The 3rd day, did 3 lectures on Pack House 3 days, the 2 days. The 3rd day, I did another radio show in London, and a whole nother crew came out, so I had to do another 3 hours of lecturing, and ended up, because that day was supposed to be in ritual. So we ended up doing 10 hours of lecturing in ritual. I got a few of those particular DVDs here for people that might want to purchase them. They go on the internet, they go on some other providers. Cost about $75 to $80 for, I got them for 40. So anybody who's interested in some of those. How many people saw the London DVD? Off the chain. You see what I'm saying? Because the spirit never seen it, and it wasn't until I got on the plane to come back for 2 weeks. I'll tell you one or 2 minutes. But when I was coming back, the spirit came, and I realized who the spirit was. The Marcus God. It came on the plane, and he said, one of the reasons that you went to London is there's something that you must know that most people never knew because it was a secret government project. And that was, after they deployed Marcus Garvey and they studied this new movement, not only does he have chapters all over the world, in China, Japan, all of Africa, he got chapters in Russia. This is one of the baddest black men connected as far as bringing Africans together, a home and abroad, than any other human ever. So what they decided was, this is what he said, this is one of the reasons why you had to go to London. They said, because what they decided was, after they deployed Marcus Garvey, that they realized one thing. Marcus Garvey brought together Caribbean, Africans in America, or Black Americans, or whatever you want to call them, lack of a better word, Canadians, all the Caribbeans, and all the Africans that was living in America. They brought them together under his movement. And they said, what we must do, it wasn't Cornell Poet at the time, it was probably the FBI. It was not only the FBI involved, but the FBI was the one that invented the first black government agent to go in and infiltrate Marcus Garvey's movement.
That's right.
So, the FBI, I guess, at that particular time, the CIA wasn't invented. So it had to get early, probably the FBI was doing it. They decided that this was so powerful, it would never let it again happen. And under the FBI, the problem is they don't want you to go into the CIA and bounce it on the different government agencies. They said we would never let the Africans in the diaspora come together again. So the reason why we don't have a large portion of the Caribbean community in here today, or the African community in here today, we were thinking it was cultural difference. We found out that it was a government program to divide us. Now think about this. How is it going to be a cultural difference when the ones that came across the border in the early 20th century had more culture about them than the ones that's living now, and yet they came together with black people? You know, the Caribbean, the Africans, and all of this. And it always was to me, like being lecturing for 15 years, why we didn't have enough Africans and enough other people in the diaspora. And we got Haitians, we got Romanians, we got, we said people from Dominican Republic, all these things, and it was based on Marcus Garvey's movement that the government put together, and that's one of the most successful things that they did. They couldn't keep the knowledge off the planet, but they kept us divided. And so one of our reasons for going to London was the Caribbean, they had all the Caribbean. Number one, there's 1 million black people in London. I mean, it looked like Harlem. I said, well, this is in the black section. But when we went to Buckingham Palace, niggas was just chilling. Big men, black people chilling. It was like a common comedy in New York. I never thought I was out of New York. And I told him, I said, you know what? I said, I'm back. I said, because I'm seeing black houses and everywhere I go, it's just black people. They got whole marketplaces, just not the black people selling stuff. And we went to a smaller market that had maybe 100 people there. He said, it's a smaller one with 100 people on Monday. He said, we got bigger markets. And I told him, I said, look, when we see you over, I said, they could have been successful. I said, when we see you over in America as Britain, we see 1 or 2 black people amongst a crowd of white people. And I said, they got a whole movie company, Miramax Movies, that's been in business for 25 years, and they never been kicked at you. And it was just massive amount of black people. But they were all from the Caribbean, Barbados, Antigua, mostly Jamaica, the Bahamas, then the African influx. was. It was all there, and I said, oh, and so what it was, Marcus Garvey said, you had to come over, in so many words, to bring the particular information that the black people living, that the Caribbeans living in the States didn't get in masses. Now you got some people that wasn't part of the propaganda program. You see what I'm saying? And that's why it came out the way it came out. Let me show you an example. Let me give you an example. These are some pictures you see. You would not think that looking in what America is, of tons and tons of black people. You can just see a little bit of screen up here at the table. But it's just tons of black people, and they treat us like Michael Jackson. They treat us like Michael Jackson. It was literally tons and tons of black people. I got other photographs and stuff. But I mean, I think I signed about 100 autographs. And now that table was filled with Valentine, Bobby Hemmitt, Amos Wilson, everything we got over here, they're into it even heavier because they don't get the visits that, they come simultaneously. So therefore, they don't come as frequently as they do with us. So they're really intense. And another thing, because they were British, I had to stop and say, hold on, are you all into this? Because they're very, they got the same voice as the British, and they don't feel the call and response as we do. So I'm like, they were into it like the British would be in this. You see, very prompt. You see what I'm saying? So I had to stop a couple of times, and then when I would close my eyes, I would think I was in a room for white people. You see what I'm saying? I thought I was in a room for white people. And so, but it was just amazing the amount of people, and the amount of people that that was over. And we never. And I thought that when we meet the black neighborhood, it's gonna be a white man. It never was. Like I said, we took the Big Ben and all that, it was just full of black people. You see what I'm saying? So, and Africa is a different thing. One of the brothers that you'll see on the DVD is an African. We did a documentary at I did a documentary at the British Museum. One of the brothers that came to be with me in the British Museum, I think he's in his mid to late 30s, and he's a king of an African village. Down in a small village, maybe 30, 40, 50 people. He lives over in Woodmont. He don't want to go like Africa. He don't want to go, but in Nigeria and stuff. He's an Ogun priest. So there's a whole lot of stuff that went down. Other thing that happened is, I'm going to show you a picture. And you'll see this on the documentary if you get the DVD. Like I said, I have a DVD show. It's 3 DVDs, so that's almost 25 each. And the third, which is 10 out, is 35. So it's probably about $75, $80 most people sell it. I got it for you. You can stack them up. Anyway, this is us at the British Museum. This is me and my queen at the British Museum. And we stand between a family, they got a family of segments over there. And this is what us people in the East Indian part with the nation. But as we went on back, going back to the East Indian part, we got to the back of the actual museum. And I told him, I said, when I go to the election, I said, there is a museum of DNA in Paris where all the countries like Vietnam, India, China, they send all the black statues of the indigenous people with the origin of the people, they send them to this museum in Paris. It's a smaller museum behind the Louvre, or somewhere it's a smaller museum. So I said, they send them there to hide in, or the Louvre, or these museums pay big money. What I didn't know is, when we was going to Paris to see all that, and the Louvre, but they got a plane, they got a train that takes you from London to Paris like an hour and a half, but you got to get on with the book for June, so you have to get on with the book yourself the month before. Well, one of the keys was, when we got to the British Museum, they have, in the East Indian section, they have an entire section facing, they had the cabinets facing us, they had a wood section at the end of the cabinets facing the wall. And when we turned the corner, all of Vishnu, Shiva, Lakshmi, and all them turned to not Egyptians, but West Africa. Big lips, flat nose. They turned to West Africa, and I said, oh, so this is one of the shames that why they deal with what they deal with. And so it's just interesting because there was a new thing called Voodoo Secrets that came out a couple years ago. And when they went down to Benin, Africa, they were talking about voodoo. They have this picture of Shiva painted on the side of the house. So why was that? Because when we saw the Shivas in the British Museum, it looked like the same place the people in Benin, Africa, they came to up there holy. It looked like the same people. You see what I'm saying? And so we were able to go to the Egyptian, the Sumerian, and the East Indian. But the African section was huge, and the Chinese section was huge, the China section. So we got to go back, because we didn't have enough time because of the China section. Naturally, we're going to see all you can see in Africa. Well, I'm interested in what China got. You see what I'm saying? Because we went to that section, and they had all these black Buddhas. But when you go to China, we didn't get to that point. I mean, this is all black history. And like the guy said, there's very little British history in the British museums. So people, they got it for free, they let you in for free now, and they let you take the time out. I'm like, well, why are they doing this? I spirit said, well, I guess they done stole so much people's shit. Then I said, at least they was coming to document their own stuff. So we did an entire documentary, monumental, and then we did an entire ritual on the third day. On rituals and stuff. You got just about any kind of ritual you want for healing or what have you. But I brought some very important things also to today for healing and stuff. But it's interesting here because this is me and my queen at the lecture. And you can see all this when you read the lecture. But now this is interesting. I find this is very funny. This is how I put my hat on that mad bird. My face is shaking or whatever. I look like the son of Sam, granddad. Anyway, we went to the King Tut exhibit, and they wouldn't let us film. They wouldn't let us film and stuff. When we was at the exhibit and stuff, they had like a store. So, this is what's in there, like I said. I told you, it looks very powerful. But it's interesting now, because I bought this, I gave it this thing. And now what it is, they got these Halloween stores. They got these Halloween stores. They have these Halloween stores now. That's around. They're selling these same things at the Halloween stores. These Egyptian pharaoh things. They got them all over. They probably got them all over Detroit. They got them all. They sprang up for the month of Halloween, the month of October. They got these same pharaonic things that they're selling at the King Tut exhibit. You see what I'm saying? At the King Tut exhibit, they got them at the Halloween stores. You need to go check out the Halloween stores. Now these little Baron Saunders, you gonna get into him? I got these from Family Dollar for $1. And I need to get up on these. This makes a hell of an altar. That's Jesus right there. We'll get into this. That's Jesus. We'll get into this in a minute. But that's Jesus. But I wanted to show you some things. Don't get into this. No, really, literally. There's a hidden Jesus. And now it's revealed. Now this, and the top hat had something to do with this was installed during slavery. So this is very powerful. Very powerful. See what I'm saying? It's very powerful. You see what I'm saying? They selling these at the Halloween store for $8. You see? Very powerful stuff, you see what I'm saying? But I've been a friend to get the actual real ones. So I got my 5 real ones for the altar at the house and stuff. And I got this one just for the robe, the costume. And she said, but it's felt, so it is real too. Now, but going right along, before we go into the libation, this is an altar that I got about maybe 40 of these lately. This is one of the ultimate altars. If you put this up in your house, you pretty much can get what you want or deal with what you got to deal with. This is the goddess Terra. Now, the goddess Tara is not like any other goddess, but she's a goddess that's on the continent of Africa. That's where you get the word Bender, but it was actually Tara. She's also called Tara Mata in Tara, T-A-R-A. She's also called Tara Meta in Rome. She's Tara in Asia. She's Tara in India, in Tibet. She's even Tara in Europe. There's a Tara. That probably would belong to the original inhabitants of Europe. So she's the universal earth mother. The word Tyre is the derivative of Tara, which is the hippopotamus god. This is one of her altars on the Buddhist level. Very, very powerful altar. Not only does it have 3 sets of Buddhist altars, it has 2 other queens. And it's got just about every kind of thing that can open up a portal for images. So if you want to get down, you need to get down with this. This is very powerful. So what we're going to do right now, for the sake of time, we're going to ask people to ask some questions to stretch your people's mind, because what has been happening in our lectures for so long, so people really have some stuff at the beginning of the lecture that they want to talk about. But what happens is, we'll do about 15 minutes of that, but what's happening is the lectures last so long until they forget. So, so I want people to be fulfilled. So, give me a question. On the portals, yeah. Yes, it's very interesting to say that. Yeah. Okay, let me put that down. Yeah. All right, that's it now. Very interesting you say that about portals. About portals. Let me tell you what happened. We got a tape. Now, what we can do now, the things now, we have a tape here. I think I brought it. What I do is I bring it to. I brought it. Me doing a lecture at my house. That some brothers came. And did a documentary. They were dealing with the whole secret stuff. But I said, well, we're going to have to get into other hermetic material, which the secret is coming from. So we went to the house and we did a whole lecture, so we did a whole grand tour of the altars and different stuff. We have that, I think I gave you Brother Cole Stevie. And all, you see what I'm saying? So we bring it, so you can dispense. What you can do is now, I got a little MySpace page. What is the thing? I don't know the computer, but I got the brother Panda in New York. He got a MySpace page. And so you go to the MySpace page, you know how to get on that with. I mean, that MySpace.com, I don't know what the name of it. MySpace or whatever this thing is. But anyway, there's going to be some of this stuff too all off the MySpace page. A lot of the tapes and stuff, there's a lot of stuff on there right now. We put up the MySpace page, and this stuff is something like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 hits or, it's like 50-something, maybe 100 pages, and people call it in each day, and I don't even have a computer to answer their and they shoot without checking and answer some stuff like that. So you can get this stuff in the MySpace page. But anyway, last summer 2007, I amassed 180 Egyptian statues. I don't know how I did it, but I got everything in there, and as a result, it started opening up portals around the house. So what happened here is certain cats will come through the portal from other places. They come from other dimensions. And they'll take up residence there. Some of them stay for a couple months, some stay indefinitely. So we feed about 9 cats. And one of them had a litter. You see what I'm saying? He got to get the big bag, body, all of this. But what happens is every time we go, every time we leave, they come out free and guard like the plates. So now, but one day a dog came through the portal. And so, after about a week, and I asked the neighbors, I said, that's your dog? They said, no, he just woke up one day and he was just on the front porch. I said, they said, we tried to take him, we got him to come, we tried to take him like 3, 4, 5 miles out and drop him off. Now, if you down in the country, you can take a dog out and it'll work its way back in your house. But in a major city, you see what I'm saying? That ain't happening. And it's just definitely not happening even in the country. What happened is that we took him way down Campbellton Road and dropped him off. And it's maybe about 6 miles from where we live. 6 or 7 miles. And they said, we dropped him off on Camden Road, and when we got back home, he was sitting in the front yard. You see, he was sitting in the front yard. So, there's these particular portholes, that's what happened on top of, but a tiger killed the people in the zoo, called Tatiana. That tiger killed the people in the zoo. Before they shot it on Christmas Day of 2007, that's what happened. It just walked through that wall because it was a porthole. Now, it's interesting here because we have a cat that we call Tiger that was almost dead. He was emaciated with the ribs. He had pus all over the side of him, and they get these fights with other cats, and he was dead. I even asked the spirit one, they was like, don't be attached to him. So he gone, he dead. But anyway, the day after, the tiger jumped through the fence, or jumped through the wall at the zoo. Our tiger comes back, big as a dog, fat, big, evil, and everything. So my point here is 9 lives. That stuff is true, but the point I'm trying to make here is these portholes are opening up in these animals. So I wouldn't be surprised if I walked out there one day and a goddamn polar bear or something that I know some stuff. Let's see. But it's interesting, remember they had the guy in Brooklyn in 2003. He was in Brooklyn, and they had all these noises in his house, and then he had a leopard. He had major zoo animals up in his damn apartment in the project. And they said, well, how was you able to have a leopard? That's real dangerous. Up in your big ass leopard, up in your apartment, and you don't get killed. He said, how can you take the you should talk just like you and I. You see what I'm saying? I proved it. One day, he got these candles, and the candles were burning out. And I said, well, the candles burning out, that means that money is down to about $1. So we had about $1, period. So Linda said, all I y'all fucking cats out there now, this money goes, y'all ass gonna get paid. But now we all mixed almost 2 scoops left. The cats called a friend named Tracy, and Tracy called the house and said, I just had one of the cats came in my dream and said, I need to get y'all some money so they can eat. You see what I'm saying? But this is the type of stuff that we got to get back to in this crisis. Communicating with the damn animals. You see what I'm saying? Communicate with the animals. Communicate with different things like that. And these particular portholes, like my grandmother, she never could come up in my house because it was very high. My grandmother was a school teacher. And they said, oh, school teachers never die, they just lose their class. Well, so, she just didn't accept when she died in 1990. Oh, no, I didn't show anyone. No damn. So Irene she used to drag her feet. And so Tuesday after the funeral, she was dragging her feet in the house, and my mother was like, you got to get the hell about it. You got to go. So she left and went to my younger brother who was living in Boston at the time. She was dragging her feet around me, and his wife, he had been too long married. His wife would come and say, listen, your mother's up there dragging her feet. She said, well, that's it. My mother was like, well, I sent her away from the kid. So, she would come on the damn TV. She was so hot. Cutting on the TV. And my brother was like, leave her alone. But his wife was from one of these Roots family. The Godoon thing in South Carolina. So she was from and one of her uncles was the Bone Man. He got a house full of bones. You see what I'm saying? Full of bones and cheese. That's what this is all about. Like, So the Bone Man was relative to her, so she called down to South Carolina and got the Bone Man, and they got my grandmother up out of there. But what she just started doing was bouncing around the family members. And she did this stuff from 1990 up to recent. I said, but I told her back in 2002, I said, you never told my house. She said, well, I can't come to your house because your house is on such a higher plane. As far as, so whenever you put these altars and these different things, you go to the dimension of these particular deities and stuff that you put up these altars, so she couldn't get in. You see what I'm saying? Up until a month ago. But these portholes started opening up. Baron Samedi that we're going to talk about has a mate called Bridget. A Bridget that comes from Ireland. And Irene is Irish. And come to find out, her energy was connected to this goddess Bridget, which allowed her to come up in the house. So the next thing you know, she grabbing her goddamn feet in the bedroom. You see what I'm saying? So the ancestor whole thing is opening up, and it's got something to do with the portal. It's very key at this particular time right now. It's interesting because we just went to, what was that little place we went to last night? You see some, the New Orleans place.
Right.
And so we was told the brothers, there's some older brothers up there, and we said, if everybody start telling me, everybody got some weird or some mystical stuff in your family. But the thing about it, we don't document. I say, look, everybody tell a story of what happened spiritually in their family, and we documented it in a book, we would find out that we are the gods. So they said, everybody started telling these mystical stories, which I'm going to tell you in a few minutes. And I was like, yeah, see, and it all came alive. And soon as we got out, I said, I knew something was a ship right over the place. I said, I knew it was spiritual. And everybody started telling these stories. You see what I'm saying? One guy said his dad went to the damn hospital and they told him, if you stop drinking, you're going to die. True story. Now, what happened was, when he was knocking me off to the hotel, he said, by the way, in the hotel, the brother's hosting this, he said, by the way, my father told me when he was drowning one time, in a river lake or what have you, he was drowning one time, he said, what stopped me from drowning was a mermaid came and rescued me. You see, that's what his father told him. That generation would never tell you nothing crazy like that if it didn't happen. You see what I'm saying? So it's just interesting on things like that that's actually happening. Give me some questions right here. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I've gone through it in my mind. Did you go through it? It probably wasn't meant for you to go through. Yeah. But it didn't matter because the spirit is what goes through. Okay, it's interesting because when you see the tape, if anybody went to the British Museum, they have these doorways, they're all walled up, and they tell you it's impossible for you to go through the doorway, but your astral body can go through the doorway. So the only thing that can leave, that can go through a dimension is your astral body and the spirit, because the physical can't obtain that area unless you die. Now your spirit, your astral body can go through and bounce around and do certain things, but it has a silver lining or a hard catch to it. And as soon as something that comes that might scare you or jolt you, right back into your body. You right back in your body. So you can go through the astral. You can go through the astral. It's interesting here because I want to say something. One of the sisters down in Atlanta, I'm going to give a name because people in the personal stuff, But, she didn't mind, but I just said that I wouldn't do it. But anyway, she had a sister, which is in her 40s, early 40s, come down with terminal cancer. Real bad, like on the edge of dying terminal cancer. And so, she had to go fly out to see her sister and stay a couple weeks. So I told her I was going to send her some stuff to heal. And so as a result, and I think I showed you this the last time when I was here, I sent her this picture of an entity, which was a healing entity. And Sister immediately went into remission. You see, the entity of healing. And this comes from a tarot deck that was drawn by the artist who conceptualized the dark crystal. Anybody ever seen the dark crystal? Yeah, you need to get that. You need to get the dark crystal. They worked on that for 5 years. Jim Henson and Gary Cates, who was the original, Gary Kurtz, or whatever, who was the original producer of Star Wars. The original producer of Star Wars, and a guy named Frank Oz, who did the voice of Yoda. So all those particular people hang out of the whole intelligentsia, and they work on the Dark Crystal. The Dark Crystal is one of our stories. So the artist for that is the one who drew this. And the spirit of healing, it was coming and said, this is going to put me down to be visualized by the people. It's all about us. Now, I sent this out and she put it over her bed. I told her to put it over her sister's bed. And the sister went into remission. So the only reason why I had this since the end of 2007, but the reason why I didn't do it, I said, well, maybe it might not, I said, because it's expensive to do color copies and this stuff, you know, so maybe it might not work in black and white. Let me get this laugh now. You know what I'm saying? You don't want shit to look like this shit, you know, she got enough trust there, she and our black lady who looked out, we get back in the stove. I went to the black neighborhood, buy 4 pieces of 4 short thighs. The black woman say, $16. Isn't it funny that all black places, the food is too damn high? I don't care if it's vegetarian or what have you. We just got this mentality that we charge too much. It ain't nothing that on sale. Tell the Asians give you sales. You know, we don't want to give nobody sales. I don't have time with black neighborhood. The hell with the niggas, man. Just too high, $16 for some nasty chicken. Some of them been eating too much of all my life. I'm like, I'm charging $16 for 4 damn short that. Like, man, I can get a bucket at Kentucky Fried. Hell, I can get a hog truck at damn churches. What kind of shit is this? Fill up a fucking living room at churches for $16. You know what I'm saying? Now, so anyway, this entity came through and said, the black and white, I can do the same thing with black and white. So anybody got some shit that's wrong with them, I got that black and white shit right here. So you need to get a hold of that for $5 and save your life. As well as the altar that I just showed you here, this thing right here, is no joke. This sister right here, whoever her mates is, the other sister pulling down the floor, and this particular one, this thing, I paid $100 to get this picture out of the book. $100 in Chicago, around the University of Chicago, just to get this picture. You see what I'm saying? But that's the kind of stuff you got to do if you really serious and dedicated in retrieving your people's word. You see what I'm saying? Money shouldn't be no object. You know what I'm saying? We'll pay $100 for the old velvet ass pictures and stuff you put in your room or some tiny, or all them little he ain't head, all them little black pictures you got up in there that you can let the mom and daddy and think they take with them. All that old black stuff, you know, whole first page type stuff. Why not put on some real deal stuff? This stuff may be maybe 2,000 years old. At least this is early Buddhism. What's that? About 2,000? What is Buddhism? You know the time, you know, whatever. My point here is the DC before Christ. And if you look before that goddess is an African goddess if you look as far as some particular feature when you get up on it. This is the other one that goes with it.